Alright, welcome back to the channel. We're working on the YF-17 again. Did quite a few things, got quite a few things done. So let me flip it over and show you guys where we're at. Alright, so first thing you notice is we got the gear in. I mean, I had the mounts, I had the main mounts already in it. I just didn't have the gear all sorted out yet. So the gear is essentially done. I got the nose steering in. That was a fiasco in itself. I had to kind of like create this strut out of parts that I had. I was digging deep in my drawer of junk trying to make a set of gear for this thing. So the mains are off of the G650 that the fans came out of. These struts, I'm pretty sure, are from my first free wing Venom that I crashed. And the tires are off of the G650. This is the Venom nose gear actually, but I had to extend it because it was way too short. The nose unit was out of a old F20 that I had. It was a composite F20 that HET used to make. It was a 90mm, and Electric Jet Factory was trying to sell that airplane, and I did put together one of the prototypes, and this is actually the nose unit out of that airplane. And so anyways, it's all set up now. Everything's got flat spots and the set screws are all tight and everything's straight. So basically these can come in and out, and when they go back in, they're good to go. So those are done. I got the elevator setups complete. So these are Spectrum A4040 servos. It's like a mini servo, not a micro. And they're Metal Gear, like 80 or 90 ounces of torque, which is way more than like an older standard servo, so these should be plenty strong enough. Especially considering that the F-16 uses a 13-gram micro servo for the elevators. Now these are bigger stabs, but this is at least twice as strong. So anyways, that's done. I got the tails mocked up temporarily on it because I'm getting ready to set up the servos for the rudders, and I want to make sure that, because I got a reverse and a standard servo for those, so I want to make sure I get everything right so it works properly with the nose steering. You see I got the spars in. These come out to here, sorry. This is about a 1/4 inch thick piece of carbon front and back that I got some scrap from work. So those are glued in. As you can see, I'm doing some body work. There is some flex, but it's not going to break. It's pretty strong. So again, the screws will come through here into the mounts on the fuselage. So the wing spars basically there. The wing is pretty stiff, and then it gets way stiffer once the leading edge flaps are on it because those things are so strong. So anyways, I'm down to just doing the last little bits and pieces. So once I finalize everything, these covers get glued back on. Once the fans are installed with the tailpipes, these get glued on. I don't plan on really having to get back in there to do anything. I mean, it's an EDF. It's not like you have to do maintenance. So that's worked for me in the past. I'm going to give the fans a good once over before I install them and test run them and make sure they're smooth and everything else. I'll test them, and if I ever really have to get back into here, I can kind of do the same thing. I can cut it open and pull it out and then glue it back together and fix it. Because that's simpler and stronger than trying to make a hatch. So that's what we're doing there. The gear worked pretty well. The tires stick out just a little bit, but not bad. And it's kind of finding a balance between blocking the fan, because the fan sits right here, and sticking out too much. So I actually kind of shim these so they would be back a little bit more. The YF-17 has straight legs on it. It's not like an F-18. So if the YF-17 has one shortcoming, it's definitely the way it looks on the ground. It looks like a skip leg day for sure, because the gear is super narrow and they're just kind of straight and dinky looking, whereas like you're used to seeing an F-18 with big beefy gear on it. So anyways, that's where we're at. Gotta get these verticals set up. Once those are done, fans get installed, all this gets glued back together, and then after that it's just body work, spackle, and then spackle the wing, and then glue the hinges. I've already got the servo pockets and stuff all set up for the wing. These are for the leading edge flaps. flaps and ailerons. Obviously I got some spackle in there I gotta clean out, but basically I'm gonna run some channels into here from all the servos. These will just be hot glued in, and then these will be screwed in. Then I'll put some little Mylar covers over these in case I ever have to get back in there. But having the plywood here will make it so that if I ever do have to replace a servo, that it won't be a complete disaster. So anyways, we're looking good. I just weighed everything, power systems and battery included, and servos. And right now I'm sitting at 7 pounds. So I'm thinking by the time everything gets polished and painted, and the cockpit, servo wires, and everything else, it'll end up 8.5. I can't see it being more than 1.5 pounds worth of junk added to the airplane. So even if it's 2 pounds, it's still 9 pounds, which would hardly be any more than the F-16. And it's quite a bit bigger, and I believe it has more power. So I still have to make some tail cones for it. I'm going to probably make a little quickie foam plug, and then I'll tape it and make a real light fiberglass set of tail cones for it. I still need to order decals from Callie. That's definitely on my short list of things to get done soon, so that way she has enough time to do everything before I try to make this thing go to St. George. So anyways, that's where we're at. Just going to keep this video short. Just a quick update. I did glue the spars in. I haven't glued the tails on yet. They're just sitting on there. But, oh, I did get all the control horns made. So those are all done. And, yep, that's where we're at. So that's pretty much it. In case you were curious on how the Stearman project is going, Bentley's actually made some pretty good progress. Kind of helped them get the motor mounted. So the motor is mounted now. Got some side thrusts in there. Made a battery box, and he sheeted the whole lower section here to beef it up for the landing gear. And you see we got the brick mounted now. So this is out of UMX timber. And we made the radial, which was pretty not as bad as we thought it would be. So that's done. Kind of went over the whole thing. He's getting ready to start covering it. So you can see you've got the pads in there for the servos. Everything is pretty much done structurally. So right now he's just finishing up the last little bit for the struts. But we actually ran the motor up earlier and got a setup on the radio going, and clearance some spots for some push rods. So this thing is getting really close to getting covered, which is good news, because we have a lot of stuff to get done in the next month, and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So yeah, I still got to make my FPV cockpit for my T-28. That's Bentley's FPV cockpit. They didn't have any yellow cockpits in stock, so I had to get a white one, which not a big deal. I'll paint that later. But anywho, yeah, let's see. I don't think any other major news to report. Haven't worked on the MB339 yet, so we'll have to get to that one soon, but it probably won't be till after St. George, unfortunately. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the quick update on the YF-17 project, and we'll see you in the next one.